Can you have more than one purpose?
No.
Or it has to be only one?
No, because if you buy that your purpose is the one thing that makes you uniquely remarkable. And by the way, the other thing that Picasso was basically saying was figure out who the best possible you is and share that with the world. That's an attainable and definable purpose. And it's a purpose that, we can all relate to. Oh, figure out who the best possible me is, as I would say, define what makes you uniquely remarkable, or as what Picasso would say, your gift. Figure that out and share that with the world. And that's what I believe purpose is. It's not something woo-woo. It's not something ethereal. And sure, your beliefs go into... So in my course, right, at Purpose U, one of the key steps in the process of revealing your purpose is defining your beliefs, wants, and talents, right? So with the help of our AI assistant, which we call Wordsmith, you will break down to accomplishments to reveal your beliefs, wants, and talents. Your beliefs, wants, and talents are the components of who you are, right? They're the elements. They're the atoms that make up the molecule EM. Your beliefs, wants, and talents. So of course, and they are also the components of your purpose. Because your beliefs, wants, and talents define who the best possible you is, and that's your purpose. To figure out who the best possible you is.
So with that being said, then what I'm thinking here is purpose is not a definition per se, but it's a very personal. It's personal.
You know what? I'll give you an example. I'll give you my example. So my purpose, defined in 7 words or less, it's actually 4 words, is transforming confusion into clarity. That's how I operate. I'm always trying to simplify things. I'm trying to figure out things. How does this work? What are the underlying, when I'm doing a blueprint for a company, one of the things that we have to do, and I have to facilitate as the leader of the process, is there are a lot of hidden forces at work in any company that make it work. And in the course of the blueprint, I have to figure out what those hidden forces are and then figure out how they fit together. Because when that's articulated, that's the company's methodology. And that's something almost no company knows that it has, which is a methodology, a set way of doing things. And the reason that I know that every company has a methodology is take a big company like a business like banks, right? So everybody can relate to banks. Everybody can relate to multiple banks. I mean, they probably only bank at one, but they know the competitors of those banks. They're all different. They're in the same business, but they're all different. And you recognize how they're different. And it's because they do things differently that they're different. So every company...
I'm sorry to interrupt.
Every company has a methodology that makes it uniquely remarkable.
What led you to... My question is, did you always knew your purpose? What led you to discover it? And what led you to be like, how do I bring it to other people?
It was a stumbling through the woods process for my entire career. I remember the start. My first job coming out of university was as a copywriter in an advertising agency. And I'm sitting in front of my typewriter, right? My typewriter, not my computer. And I'm trying to write words for ads for my clients. And they're awful. They work like so cliche, so banal. And I was like frustrated because I wanted to write about the authentic brand, the authentic company, and all that was coming out was cliches. So I went to an art director and I said, can you make me a sign that says, is that true? And I put it up on the wall right behind my typewriter so that as I'm constantly typing, I see that, and I ask myself, is what I'm typing true? Sadly, the answer continued to be no, which is why I did not make a career in copywriting.